Good morning, friends! Welcome to Daily Sourdough. I was out in my garden earlier and discovered I have some beautiful zucchini growing in there. And I was thinking how delicious it would be to make some chocolate zucchini sourdough bread. And I wanted to make it with just discard, no flour involved, so that it would be a quick recipe, a quick bread. So I went ahead to just test it a little bit before I showed it to you, hoping it would work. And this is how it turned out. This is my sourdough chocolate zucchini bread made with just discard. So no long fermentation necessary, a nice quick bread, and I thought now we'll try it in muffin form because it is kind of a tender loaf and I thought it would hold up better as a muffin. So let's get started by using discard. And this is lively discard. I fed it just last night. So it has a lot of good life to it. And as you know, I'm not very good at measuring my discard, but I put in roughly 2 cups of discard in my bread here. So I'm going to do that again. And I'm just going to eyeball it. You can definitely measure it yourself, but you know, it's just a rough measurement. I'm going to put 2 cups into my bowl here. That looks pretty good. To my starter, I'll add 1/2 cup of oil, and I'm using avocado oil because I really like the mild flavor, kind of a neutral taste to it. Then 1 cup of granulated sugar. Give that a stir. And that stirred up really easily, so that's nice. Now add 2 eggs. And what I did was I took, hold on. Sometimes you gotta smell the egg and make sure it's gonna be a good one. So I took my, small time. Now add to that about 1/2 cup of either sour cream or Greek yogurt so that it's the thicker yogurt. Because what I'm doing here is I'm replacing some ingredients with others or completely removing them from a recipe that I had for just your basic zucchini bread. And I took out the milk because my zucchini bread recipe called for milk. I removed that from my recipe so that it would compensate for the added fluid in my starter. Instead of putting 2 cups of flour and then milk, I just put in starter, 2 cups of starter and no milk. Now in this little bowl, I have 1/2 cup of cocoa, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And mix that in a separate bowl so they get thoroughly mixed. You don't have any little beads of baking powder or baking soda that you chomp down on. That's never fun. Get that all mixed together and then pour this chocolate mixture in with your batter and then gently stir that up so that it doesn't poof and fly into your face because it's kind of powdery. And while you're mixing this up, set your oven at 375 degrees so that it's nice and hot. By the time you mix this up, it's going to be ready to bake here in just about 3 minutes. We'll set that aside for a minute, and next, grate 1 cup of zucchini. And I just love going out to my garden and picking a fresh zucchini, putting it right into my food. So I'm very excited to have such fresh produce to feed my family, but if you don't have access to a garden, then the zucchini in the store is lovely. It just makes me think that, zucchini is one of the easiest vegetables to grow. And if you have a little backyard or a little deck area and you have a large pot, you could plant a zucchini right in that pot and it would yield you so many fresh zucchini. They just flourish and grow so that you hardly know what to do with them. You have so many. So if you have access to any little space, this is a vegetable that would grow very easily in a pot. Since zucchini has a lot of water in it, you can see there's a lot of juice in here. And it's going to be really important that you dry out your zucchini before you put it in the muffins, especially since we are not using flour. It already has quite a lot of liquid in your batter, and we don't want to add any more to it. So I'm going to take this to the sink and squeeze out the juice and dry out the zucchini. You can see how much drier that is now, and I'm even going to dab it with a paper towel. Just get that little bit extra juice out of there. So now it's quite dry. Then just go ahead and add that to your chocolate batter. And then stir that up really thoroughly. And at this point, you can either add dried cherries are delicious in this. You could add walnuts or pistachios or chocolate chips. And that's what I'm going to do today, is just add some mini chocolate chips. But all those other things are delicious in this zucchini recipe. So add whatever you're in the mood for. Give that a good stir, and now it's time to fill the muffin cups. I like to pour just a touch of oil into the bottom of each cup because I don't like using the sprays, the aerosol sprays. I just don't like adding extra chemicals or additives to my diet. So I just take a little bit of oil and I rub that around in the cup instead. But somehow just put a little bit of somehow just prepare your cups for the muffin batter, however you want to do it. Then fill your muffin tins. And I'm going to fill them pretty full because I think there's a lot of batter here. And let's hope this turns out. It's it's a very wet batter, but the bread sure turned out nicely, so we'll count on the muffins turning out as well. It looks like this recipe is going to make 24 muffins, or else 12 muffins and then a small loaf, or these muffins are kind of small, so if you have a big muffin tin, then maybe it would make 12 to 16, but it does look like it makes quite a bit. Now pop these in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 375 degrees. So if you're going to make a loaf of bread out of this, then it will require an hour of baking time. This baked for a full hour at 375. Well, here they are, friends. Our sourdough zucchini that's a mouthful. Chocolate zucchini sourdough muffins. Ooh, super hot. And I think they turned out great. They are very, very tender. Very tender crumb. Wow, that's hot. But as you can see, they rose up nicely. They're holding together, even though it's just discard. No extra flour involved. So I'm really excited about this. I love these quick recipes where you can just use your discard and away you go, and you have a yummy treat or a delicious meal in just a matter of an hour or so. Please give this a try. And if you have any hints or tips for me, I would love to hear it. Let me know how they turn out for you. And friends, be sure to stay tuned because I have many recipes on how to use your sourdough starter on a daily basis. They're very good. Very chocolatey, very rich, but tasty.